Schumacher 13th, Coulthard still there in 15th. And reminds me that Hockenheim spent most of the race chasing the fellow Scot, Susie Stoddard. Amazing in the DTM, we've got 17 starters and we've got 3 Scots. Susie Stoddard, Paul di Resta, and of course David Coulthard. DC, originally from the south-west of Scotland, Twineholm. Little town, little village really, near Dumfries. The Audi bank car going through now. We've got onboard shot here, hanging off the door as we see more bit of sand kicked up. Interestingly, these cars do have a provision for water cooling the brakes. Don't tend to use that water cooling. There's a button to the side of the steering wheel, but I just wonder if they might today in this temperature. 26.5 currently. Actually, the track temperature has dropped a little bit, although we've got a perfectly blue sky above. Ekstrom now has pushed the lead out to 3.2 seconds. Remember, Ekstrom, a double champion in the DTM, failed to win a race last season, came close, particularly in the opening round at Hockenheim, but failed to score a win. He'd like to put that right. Now here is the Salzgitter car. Salzgitter provides steel to Mercedes-Benz, and that means Gary Paffett. And after the rough and tumble of the first lap, Gary there in 8th place. And quite a bit of empty track ahead of him. And just looking at the Paffett lap times, 1:32.4 for Gary Paffett. Just trying to see if there's any damage to the aero down the side of the car after that bump. Now, all those vanes seem to be in place as far as I can see. And Gary the first to come into the pits. And also, of course, all that bumping and boring may have done a bit of damage to the tyres. In fact, he's one of several who make stops. Molina, Magic Molina as they call him, is also in very early. Winkelhock to Paffett. Mega stop from the Paffett crew. 3.2 seconds, that's as quick as you're going to see. Absolutely fabulous. He gets out ahead of Winkelhock. What will that do to him? Reference the Paffett battle with those in front and behind him. Well, it'll take a while to work out. Just Paffett, Molina and Winkelhock getting into the pits absolutely the earliest they could. Maybe Gary will go on a long middle stint now. Difficult to know. These strategies are pretty well made on the hoof, I'm told, reacting to the events rather than being pre-planned. Ekstrom, Spengler, Jarvis, di Resta, Rockenfeller. Rocky again having a strong performance. Rocky, of course, with a lot of history in the United States where he raced successfully in Porsches, won a number of 24-hour races. And that's an interesting view here of a pit stop right from behind the right front wheel. Maybe we'll take it all the way in. On the pit speed limiter, of course, there, 80 kilometres an hour. So Spengler gets a new tyre. Look at that, they've practiced that a lot of times, 3.7 seconds. And Spengler goes out, see where he drops to. The French-Canadian lives in the Alsace, the area of France close to Germany, where indeed he was born. Although, of course, he has spent some of his earlier years in Canada, and indeed has French-Canadian parents who are very supportive. Engel there after his spin. 3 seconds. I don't think we've ever seen a 3-second pit stop before. That is absolutely fabulous. Great work there by Engel's crew. And the Gentleman's Quarterly car goes out. Maybe that would just win him a place or two. So Mucker Motorsport running that car. Well done to Peter Mucker and all the boys there for that mega 3-second stop. Formula One teams, of course, make quick stops these days with the change of rules, no fuel. But remember, we're putting fuel in here. But I don't think we've seen a 3-seconder in a Formula One situation other than in the workshop as the leader comes in. Here is Ekstrom. Often goes on quite a different strategy to others, but everyone, I think, sticking to pretty similar race plans here today. Ekstrom brings the Red Bull car in. He'll pit right at the very end of these magnificent pits here. And we got time for that one? Maybe not. And he's going to filter in right alongside. Oh, he comes out right in front of Susie Stoddard, who goes past him, or tries at least, but doesn't quite make it. Go on, Susie, see if you can hold him up. No, doesn't manage it. So about half the field now made their pit stops. All that moves David Coulthard there up into about 11th place. Maybe Coulthard can get a bit of a look at Ekstrom's lines now, although he's got Susie Stoddard in front of him. As I was saying before, DC spent most of Hockenheim behind Susie Stoddard. So, Ekstrom, Resta, Jarvis. And Ekstrom, strong race thus far. The man who's such an ace at that special race of champions event. We've seen it in the past in Wembley Stadium. It was last year in the Birdcage Stadium in China. And Eki has won that 3 times. A man who's had a couple of Group N victories in the World Rally Championship. As Paul de Resta comes in now with Bramat behind him. And de Resta was briefly in the lead as they all cycle through the first pit stops. And pretty well everybody other, it appears, that Tomczyk in green on the same show. Schumacher hasn't come in yet. Stoddard hasn't come in. And neither has Cheng. There they go. And Paul de Resta going out behind Oliver Jarvis. Jarvis, who did such a great job with Audi last year, that he was the one that Dr. Ulrich decided to promote to the top squad to take the place of Tom Christensen, who retired from the DTM but is continuing with the Le Mans cars for Audi. And indeed, Jarvis is in the very car that TK raced last year with TK's engineering. He's all over the back of Spengler now. Now, this is one of the best battles we've seen thus far in the race. Paul de Resta also in that fight. Come on, Ollie, you can do it. Ollie Jarvis then pushing really hard, trying to get past Spengler. At the moment it's for 10th place, but as we cycle through with the pit stops, it'll be higher than that. Currently Scheider is in the lead because he has yet to make his stop. Look at the way these cars are weaving about, and then Scheider comes in. Just watch out for that number 100 on the side of his car. And there you can clearly see it now under the Tempera side. That looked a quick stop to me. That looked hugely fast. Maybe that will fall to. He's going to come out right in front of Mike Rockefeller and in front of Bramat. So Timo Scheider gaining 2 positions from that lightningly fast pit stop. Gary Paffett just charting his progress in 12th place currently. So now we only have Tomczyk and Green to stop. And when they've stopped, Ekstrom is going to be up there. And Schumacher just made a late stop as well. So pretty. And just looking for David Coulthard for that yellow car, but I think he managed to vault past Susie Stoddard in the pit stop. Rockefeller under pressure from Bramat. There's a great shot there of the Ralf Schumacher pit stop. So just slightly slower than some of the others. There's Resta, told by the bright red mirrors, the AMG white and black livery on the side of the car. So a couple of them still staying out. Tomczyk and Green have yet to make their stops. Tomczyk just had very fast middle sector, so those tyres still holding up very well indeed for Martin Tomczyk. And I just wonder what this longer first stint strategy is going to do for him. There is Rocky and Ramar, the man. Well, the pair of them, of course, sharing an Audi in the Le Mans endurance season, not last year, but the year before, to win that championship. So teammates then, indeed, both driving the Phoenix run Audis, Phoenix Racing, who are based right next door to the Nürburgring in the big industrial park there. And Rocky actually switching teams this year. He was with Team Rosberg, who run the other two customer Audis, year-old Audis. The main cars, of course, run by the App Sport organisation. Still Tomczyk and Green staying out front because they have yet to make their pit stops on now what is obviously a completely different strategy. Green in a year-old car, run by the Person organisation. And just checking the lap times. Green hits the personal best then of 32.052. What about David Coulthard? He's doing 32.9 the last lap. He is definitely in front of Susie Stoddard, and his next target will be Ralf Schumacher. And DC now 1.7 seconds behind Ralf. He'd dearly like to beat him, I'm sure. So, 28 laps still to go. On a hot, torrid afternoon here in Valencia on the circuit, which is profoundly difficult to pass on. But someone will make a go at it, I'm absolutely sure. There is Scheider. There's the AMG car of Resta. Force India test driver. Gets to run again, he tells me, in Turkey on the Friday. Be very interesting to see how he gets on at that track. He hasn't been to the circuit before, although he's done quite a few laps around it in the simulator. That must be the McLaren simulator that they are able to use. There's Jamie Green going through. And Green with Ekstrom quite close behind him, just 2 seconds. Ekstrom having made the stop, Green having not. And Tomczyk with some 7 seconds margin over Jamie Green. Back on board with Gary Paffett. Paffett trying to chase down Alexandra Permar. As you can see, not much distance between them, 0.8 of a second it shows on the watch. But overtaking around here is a very another issue. Purebred racing cars, remember, with space frame tubular chassis. As I told you earlier, that could all change for 2012 with the carbon tubs provided by the ITR. We've heard that the Grandam people are coming over to look at a DTM race. I know there's been discussions going on with the JAF, which is the Japanese Auto Federation, about having a common set of rules with the Japanese GT Championship.